now that the art world is thoroughly embedded into a larger visual economy and critique. Can there be, or are we already witnessing, a different approach to critique now that major public and private institutions are under increased scrutiny? Hi, my name is Melanie Bühler and I'm the Curator Contemporary Art at the Frans Museum in Haarlem in the Netherlands. For this iteration of the symposium, the fellows have been asked to respond how the situation of the COVID-19 global pandemic has impacted the visual arts. Here in the Netherlands, we experienced a lockdown situation between March and July when museums, just like cafes, department stores, clubs and concert halls were closed. On the 1st of July, museums were allowed to open again under the restriction that they guarantee a 1.5 meter distance between the visitors and that they make sure that only a limited amount of visitors is present at a time in a given space. Looking at my curatorial work, the pandemic eerily coincided with a project on institutional critique that I have been working on since last year that posed some of the questions that have been posed by the pandemic already within that project. This project, titled The Art of Critique, consists of a series of exhibitions, the first of which, Image Power, had just been opened 2 weeks before the museum needed to close down in March. The exhibition series, The Art of Critique, asks what constitutes a practice of institutional critique today, now that the art world is thoroughly embedded into a larger visual economy and critique. Think of Me Too, the Black Lives Matter movement, for instance, is practiced everywhere. Can there be, or are we already witnessing, a different approach to critique now that major public and private institutions are under increased scrutiny? And how might a new approach relate to institutional critique, the art historical movements that we have seen emerging since the late 1960s? Linking to the historic movement of institutional critique, the project thus reflects on the critical role of art in today's society, the role of the museum and the art world at large. Questions that we have been forced to grapple with as part of the pandemic and the surging Black Lives Matter movement that has raised the issue of systemic racism with renewed force also in the art world. The 3 exhibitions of The Art of Critique are each dedicated to a specific topic. The first, Image Power, questions the role of art in our image-driven age of social media and political unrest. The second chapter, Representation Critique, which will take place next summer, focuses on questions of representation and identity. And the third, Structure Critique, that is due to be organized in the fall of next year, critically reflects on the structures that underpin the art world. So while I've been engaging with questioning the workings of our field, as part of this project, the reality of the pandemic hit and gave all of these questions an even more pronounced urgency. Very practically speaking, the first exhibition in the series, Image Power, could no longer be visited physically. While our PR department did what all museums did, amp up the social media presence of the museum by feeding Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, We also worked on a digital representation of the exhibition together with the Art Academy in Amsterdam, the Geert Rietveld Academy. This resulted in the website The Art of Critique, designed by Julia Behrens de Haan. The objective was to create an online environment that should not only show the exhibition, but also engage with the topic of the project. In this case, we wanted to raise the question how information is displayed and brought to the viewer. By surfing on the website, the visitor of the website can experience the exhibition by keywords and categories. This questions how information about artworks is displayed, which information is relevant for the museum, and how categories can be reductive and problematic. The website is also an attempt to question the format of the online exhibition and to go beyond social media as the mainstream channels of distributing information about art museums, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. As the artist Constant Dullard, here we see an image of him and various artworks that he has done over the years. As the artist Constant Dullard has reminded us in a recent article in the Dutch magazine Metropolis M, I hope this will be soon translated into English because it's a brilliant piece. We should not forget that these are commercial platforms that have been created to quickly draw us in for likes and clicks. They do not, however, encourage a slower, more critical viewing of art. Talking to an artist in person on the phone or through video chat, or actually reading an exhibition catalog might be more productive and meaningful encounters with art, the artist Dullard argues, who has become known for using the web as his medium. Given the fact that the internet has become a thoroughly commercialized place. This institutional engagement with commercialized platforms falls neatly in place with the fact that museums have become forced to become more and more attuned to business strategies with earned income achieved through ticket sales, merchandise, and rentals becoming steadily more important for museums in the US and Europe. As museums are forced to be enclosed, and once they were allowed to open up again, only able to admit a fraction of the visitors, the business model that relies on mass attendance and mass tourism is no longer available. This, I have argued in a recent article for Moose magazine, forces us to rethink what we actually want from museums as public institutions and to grapple with the question how their business-mindedness actually impacts how they are governed, how they address their publics, and what they put on display.